29 years ago, two hikers were trekking in the Autizal Alps of Italy when they stumbled across something life-changing. These hikers found this, a frozen mummy of a man who lived 5,200 years ago. In fact, this is the oldest mummy known to date and is in incredibly good condition due to its frozen slumber. The mummy was named Otzi for the location he was found in. Archaeologists are able to tell that he was 5'5", 110 pounds, 46 years old, arthritic, lactose intolerant, and murdered. Now, the story of his murder is fascinating. X-rays and CT scan detect a flint arrow tip lodged in his right shoulder, which would have pierced a major artery causing fatal bleeding. And Otzi's body, being found with a knife clutched in his hand, was all evidence enough to show that his end was not a happy one. However intriguing his murder is, what historians find even more fascinating are the 61 tattoos covering Otzi's lower back and legs. All of these spots are places of degenerative injuries, and taking into consideration his arthritic past, it's concluded that tattoos were used to be some sort of medical treatment for joint pain. Covering his lower back, right knee, and ankle joints are a series of small crosses and dots. Before Otzi, historians mostly believed that tattooing was done for decoration. However, the Egyptians too have a fascinating past in using tattoos in unconventional ways. As early as 400 BC, Egyptian mummies and figures depicted on tomb scenes showed evidence of tattooing. Archaeologists quickly noticed the pattern of only women being tattooed. They originally believed this marked prostitutes and protected women from STDs. However, it's now believed that these women were the leaders of their society. Historians have speculated tattooing in ancient Egypt was done therapeutically, to protect women during pregnancy and birth. This is suggested by the common pattern of tattoo across women's abdomen, tops of thighs, and breasts. A net-like distribution of dots across the woman's abdomen, when pregnant, would expand to create a protective net across the stomach, similar to how Egyptians would wrap mummies in beaded nets. A small figure of the deity Bes, the protector of women in labor, was tattooed to the tops of thighs. These tattoos were believed to have been done with a bundle of typically 7 needles that prick the skin. Then a mixture of soot and breast milk was rubbed into the cuts. These tattoos were done to girls of the age 5 or 6. Moving to the Pacific Ocean, tattooing has been an ancient practice through the Polynesian islands for centuries. With no written language, Polynesians used tattooing to express their identity and personality. These traditional tattoos differ among the Polynesian islands, however they all focus around these central ideas. Tattooing indicates status within their hierarchical society, sexual maturity, and genealogy. The tools and techniques for tattooing were passed down from father to son. A young artist would spend many years as an apprentice learning the trade before they were recognized as a full tattoo artist. Tattooing in Polynesia was done mostly by men to men, however some women did get tattooed. Tongan and Samoan warrior tattoos started at the waist and extended below the knee, whereas women's tattoos of delicate designs were on the hands and lower parts of the body. Even after centuries of tattooing, the tools and techniques used in Polynesia have not really changed. Samoan tattoo artists traditionally created their tools from sharpened boar's teeth, fastened together with turtle shells into a wooden handle. Tattoos were typically done by 2 men, one who would make a series of small cuts to the skin, and then the other who would rub a mixture of soot and sometimes oil into the cuts. Because these tattoos were so large and intricate, the process lasted 3 to 4 months. It was not an easy feat to get these tattoos. Tattoos were extremely painful to get, however they showed your dedication to the culture and your ability to endure extreme pain. Risk of death by infection was a valid concern for these Polynesians. However, if you shied away from a tattoo, it meant you were not committed to your culture's traditions and were labeled a coward. The unfinished tattoos, or none at all, created a target for yourself and sometimes caused a shunning from your tribe. Once the tattoos were complete, parties and feasts were held in celebration. Afterwards, tattoos had to be washed with salt water daily to reduce infection and massaged to prevent impurities. Within 6 months, the distinctive design of the tattoo would begin to show, and after a full year, the tattoo was healed. Unlike Egypt and the Polynesian islands, where tattooing was done in celebration, in Japan, Greece, and China, tattoos marked the underbelly of the society. In China and through many Asian countries, tattooing was seen as barbaric and highly stigmatized. Convicted criminals were tattooed on their face as a public warning that they were dangerous. Through Greece and Rome, tattoos were done to mark criminals, prisoners of war, and slaves. A famous example of tattooing in Greece was when the Athenians defeated the Samians, and so they tattooed Athens' symbol, the owl, onto their defeated. For many years now, tattooing has been a large part of our modern society, after it all started when James Cook voyaged to the Polynesian Islands and discovered the art. In 1771, Cook visited Tahiti and New Zealand for the first time. Many of his crewmates got tattoos themselves while on these islands, bringing back the art of tattooing to Europe, along with the word tattoo, which originated from the Samoan word tatau. Tattooing became popular among the upper class in the Victorian era. However, it quickly moved to the working class when fully tattooed people became an attraction. John O'Reilly was one of the most famous tattooed people of the 1800s and was named the Tattooed Irishman. He was popular among museums and circuses for his intricate full-bodied tattoos. Emma de Burgh was popular among the entertainment industry as well for her full-body tattoos in the late 1880s. As the world moved into the 20th century, tattoos were solely done within the entertainment industry and among sailors. When a sailor joined a crew, they were marked with an anchor. After that, they received a tattoo for different accomplishments. Travel across the equator and you got a turtle. Go 5,000 miles and you get a swallow. It wasn't until the 1960s came along and Janis Joplin became more popular that tattooing was accepted among mainstream culture. With the Vietnam War, peace signs and flower motifs became more popular in America. Through the 1970s and the rise of the hippie movement, sleeve tattoos and bodysuits marked the new generation. Colorful, intricate tattoos gained in popularity and was the sign of the counterculture. Beginning in the 21st century, tribal tattoos, Chinese characters, and small, quirky tattoos became popular among the younger generations. Though tattoos are common among mainstream society, they still have some implications towards the dark side of our society. Specific tattoos marking the members of a gang are fairly common, especially tattoos done on the face and neck. The teardrop tattoo is common among gang members and those in prison. However, there are many different meanings and origin of this style of tattoo. The broad understanding is that the teardrop tattoo under an eye symbolizes a traumatic event. In many gangs, a person receives a teardrop after killing someone. Other times it means they have lost a family member or a close friend. Tattoos are now fully embraced within our modern society. In fact, almost 1 in 4 Americans have a tattoo. So the question is, what more can we do with them? Scientist and tattoo enthusiast Carl Bruns began exploring the possibilities of tattoos at his research lab at University of Colorado. After deciding that tattoos are just billions of nanoparticles trapped under the upper layers of the skin, he began exploring how tattoos can actually give us superpowers. Bruns' big idea is that one of humanity's main disadvantages is that we cannot see ultraviolet rays. This causes humans to be susceptible to preventable conditions like sunburns and skin cancer. Sunscreen works fairly well at mitigating these conditions, but once it's dried on your skin, it's invisible, and you can't tell where you may have missed spots or when it's time to reapply. Bruns has experimented with filling hollow microcapsules the size of tattoo pigments with UV-activated color dyes, so when you're in the sun, these solar freckles, or UV-activated spots, will appear, and you know when you're susceptible to UV damage. Using the same concept of filling microcapsules with other substances than tattoo pigment, Bruns has invented a way of taking your body temperature without a thermometer. He's filled these microcapsules with dyes sensitive to certain temperatures and tattooed a thermometer onto skin that has direct contact with your internal temperature, like the inside of your lip. That way, when you want to check your temperature, you can just look at the tattooed thermometer and see what color appears. The same concept can be used to make human skin conductive to electricity. Right now, your skin is not conductive, so people with implants like a pacemaker that is in charge of regulating the beats of your heart have to get surgery every 5 to 10 years to change the batteries in it. But what if you could charge it through your skin? If you could get a tattoo that made your skin conductive, you could simply charge your pacemaker through your skin and not get surgery. With these kind of tattooing advancements, possibilities are endless.